Hey, welcome to Podcat Potcast. We got some great content for you today. Coming at 5 past the start, Esifer's going to show you his laughing my ass off 2-hog souffle. Later, we'll have 10 live in the studio to talk about how he won the World Championship. Hold on, what's that? What's that, producer in my ear? He didn't win. Oh, damn. I guess it was one of those Americans? Oh, well, a Japanese player won. Nice. Was it Kaka? No? Oh, maybe next year, Kaka, or 10. You got this. Alright, also in the studio today, we have Eureka, who's here to get you started on learning Japanese. All this and more coming up today on Podcat Potcast in the morning.
Table, wake up. Grab brush and put a little table. Why'd you leave the kids up on the table? You wanted to. I cry when tables deserve to die.
Hey guys, today on the Podcat Potcast, we thought we'd try something new. For the first time ever, we're going to stop being so serious and tell a joke. Where does President Shinra keep his armies? Up his sleeveys. You're welcome. As a podcast host, I'm proud to introduce you to a brand new premium podcast content delivery service. Yes, I'd like to introduce you all to Podcat Prime, the fastest way for you to get instant access to all the best podcast content. Now, unfortunately, since you can't prove intent, there's no way to guarantee this does what I say. But just give us your money, and we'll have you find out the hard way. It was judged 5 out of 5 stars by some guy in America, and as a judge, they would know. Did I mention they are a judge? We're going to move into TFE talk now. So, the Final Fantasy TCG competitive season has ended. Worlds has just taken place, roughly. And there's probably a few more months before we get back into the competitive season. The only event coming up at the time of recording is the Winter Cup for the end of the year. Although by the time this releases, I'm not going to lie, it's probably after the Winter Cup. But I think we can look back at Worlds and talk a little bit about it, I think. So, what did we think about Worlds? Let's start with Ceylon. What do you think about Worlds?
I think it was pretty alright. I unfortunately didn't get to check out much of it because I was off doing another event. But I think it was alright. I'm glad. Glad. I'm pretty proud of how Rob did, and just in general, a lot of the players there.
What about Esper?
I'm pretty sure if Worlds has displayed one thing, it's that YRP in Valifor is actually some kind of elaborate scheme to sell old Opus 1 stock. I'm pretty sure they put it in there and they're like, yeah, this is still going to be busted in like 10 sets time, so we can just keep printing these and just keep selling them to new players. But no, seriously, I think the event was pretty well run. I don't think there was any drama that came out of it. There was like a stupidly long wait while they were getting ready for draft, but I guess they can't really show picks at Worlds or something. The commentary is pretty cool as well. It's good to see Rice up on, although he was repping pretty hard for his NA bros. And yeah, of course, proud of 10 and all that as well. He did good, but he should have had a TFE hoodie on, just saying. TFE flannel shirt. Get him on for next year.
All right, and ultimate head judge of Australia, how did you find World?
Yeah, no, I was asleep for most of it,
All right.
Fantastic.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
I chimed in for a few games. It was great to see. Kurosawa's games. I caught a couple of his on stream, and it was pretty well run, well commentated. But yeah, no, I was asleep for most of it. No worries.
Right, what is it though? Right, events in America, the fucking same 3 songs they play on the We'll Be Right Back bit. Final Fantasy has got literally like hundreds of hours of good music they can just use, and we always get that shitty harpsichord thing from like Final Fantasy 1 or 2. I don't even know which one it's from, but it's wank and I hate it. Just, I need to say that on the record.
Why would you use good orchestral compositions when you can run the same mind-numbing harpsichord over and over again?
Or
for like
Final Fantasy 5 theme tune. Do you ever watch that one where it was just like 8 hours solid with the Final Fantasy 5 theme tune on loop, even over the games? It was fucking horrible. But it's always North American events. Nowhere else has that problem. I guess.
It was probably distribution was slow on delivering.
Please wait a couple of weeks for the site to update. That's what it was.
Yeah, they were downloading new music. It just takes a little while.
That's it. Yeah, they need to put it on the stream. It'll be up in 2-3 weeks. Please look forward to it.
So, one of the things that is kind of typically happens is that when a set comes out near Worlds, that's pretty much the only event we get competitive-wise that sets up a set. So, in terms of Opus 10, which actually is quite a good set, you know, I think people compare it to Opus 5 in terms of the way it has good cards and the power level and things like that. But, how do we feel about the fact that, you know, that's really the only event where we get to see the meta for Opus 10 evolve or exist in terms of competitive? Let's start with SFR. talk. Thanks.
It really sucks. Like Opus 10 has got a lot of creative stuff you can do. Like Doga and Ude open up a lot of really strange stuff. We're not really going to see what happens with those until probably well into Opus 11 when there's way more events. Like I don't know. Did Eureka say that it was like Magensen started? So we might start seeing events from there as well. But of course, I've got no idea when they're going to. Winter Cup is going to have like 200 odd people going by previous years though. So you should see hopefully a creative mix of decks come out, but most likely the top 16 is just going to be like Windwater pretty much exclusively. And the Prometheus WAF deck might sneak in as well. As we know, WAF's really good, but there's a lot more that can be creatively done with this set, but I don't know if the lack of events is going to give it very little time for it to develop. But there's a lot of good stuff, and I think it'll all see use going forward. Like, there's nothing I think that's going to be just good for just this set. But yeah, more events over winter, please, because that's when I actually have some free time.
Zealand.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about like events that are coming in Australia right now. It's kind of whatever.
I think that's an interesting thing or problem with the game in general. You know, they like weirdly take forever to announce what's coming up.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a shame that there's like a massive break, because even of what like I've winded down playing a lot recently just because I don't have anything I'm really looking forward to. But I heard that the Community Cup was really good here in Australia, but I unfortunately didn't get to go.
All right, on my head judge of Australia, how do you feel about these things?
Yeah, look, I'm happy to give WAF less airtime. I've been too terrified to go back to local since Worlds, because I can guarantee like 9 out of 10 people will be playing Fire Earth WAF, and that's too much for my little mono water for Sawyer to handle.
Do we want to see a more sort of regular set season in terms of like the events for all the various regions in Final Fantasy? In the same way, if you look at any other card game, you know when the competitive season starts and ends. Do we want to see this more consistently? Because I think I do.
Just laying it out well in advance would be better. Like, we know there's products coming in. We know we've got 3 loads of products launching in March. We've got the new tins, the FF7 starter deck, and Opus 11. So why the hell don't we know what events are coming around? Like, you must know when Worlds next year is already. You know, if you're booking accommodation and stuff for it. Look, I'm not saying we want to know when Worlds is, but at least Crystal Cups should be feasible to tell us when they're. Regionals are, of course, a bit more quick. But yeah.
It's weird because if you look at, say, Pokemon, let's just take Pokemon as a random example, even though I think you could apply it to any of them. At their World Championships, they announced the next World Championships. Like, we know London Pokemon Worlds is at London next year. We know the date. You know, why do they have to wait?
We got the location this time, but it was only to the attendees.
Yeah.
It's Singapore next year, isn't it?
Yes, Singapore.
Yeah, but I don't know when, unless I missed it.
Why not just tell people when it is? I don't see how that affects anything. Yeah. It's always November, and it's typically always the last weekend of November. So why not just announce it? Unless you're randomly changing it. But how does it affect anything? Why do we have to wait until August to know when it's coming? And it's the same with a lot of the events. You know, like Nationals last year was like announced like almost 2 months before it happened. You know, people need to have time to plan.
No, I think it was 6 weeks in the end. It was less than 2 months.
Yeah, less than 2 months. Yeah, but you know, people need time to plan hotels, travel. Like, people from other countries aren't
book time off work.
Yeah, they're not going to travel as far if you don't give them enough time.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's strange.
Yeah. Like, if it were more consistent, you could definitely see people starting to plan, you know, holidays and everything around just being there. Like, for example, if I was planning to go to, you know, say America, and then it was like, an event's on the week after, I just go a week later or so. But they don't really give much time, and it makes it inconvenient for people who have to file in leave super early or want to work around their holidays or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, there are people in jobs where they have to put in their time like months and months in advance. And if you give them 6 weeks...
Most retail jobs, you put your holiday in April, don't you?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
sorry, it's okay.
I think I know some people in retail, and they put their holidays in right in April, and that's it. Is it, you know, you put them in once for the year, and then that's your holidays. There's maybe some leeway to change it, like, you know, if you ask, but that, you know, you're basically not guaranteed anything, depending on your manager.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I think something needs to change with that. It feels like they like to play secret squirrel a lot. They like to just keep it, you know, nestled away, all their little nuts, but it affects the players. You know,
it does seem to, like, news about upcoming event always does seem to get to people that are in the know. Like, it's obviously not that tight a ship. Not tight a ship. They're obviously not that tight-lipped with it. But yeah, we've got there's something coming up in April though. But that's going to be well into, I think the competitive format's probably started by then. But that'll be the FanFest in Rome.
Yeah.
I'm planning on going to that at the moment, but I might just not bother depending on what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'd like to go.
I was thinking about it, but
It's funny.
we'll see. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think that wraps up TFE talk. Unless anybody has any final words.
I do think it's worth mentioning that last time we did this, Rob was doing some pretty good audio shit posting about Onion Knights, and basically none of us picked up on it because we're all morons. I've listened back to it. And it's
I did pick up on it.
we're all just fucking idiots.
I did pick up on it, and then everyone like actually took it seriously. Because I was
thought
giving
we were
them a
like talking
serious,
about the new set,
quote unquote serious, back talk, and then like everyone else did as well. But I knew he was joking. Like I knew he was joking.
Yeah, I didn't. So
but I just didn't humor him in that. Like I was humoring him by taking him seriously, if you know what I mean. But like I
wanted to make sure that both our listeners knew that we're not becoming a serious podcast.
Did I cut that out or not? Did I leave that?
No, the Onion Knight bit stayed in.
Because I remember listening to it, and like he keeps going on, and he keeps going, and he keeps going, and everyone just keeps taking him more and more seriously, and it was so funny to listen to in the edit. I don't know if this will make the edit. Fun fact. I don't know. We don't have much content.
You haven't got enough content to cut anything, mate. Let's be honest.
I'm just this is just gonna go up
keep
raw.
the whole. Upload it. Yeah, upload it raw. Easy.
Just gonna hear everything, all the mistakes. It's fine. But yeah. Also, big shout out to Rob. He did fairly well at Worlds.
What a lad.
Yeah.
Let's hope
Proud
for
of my boy.
a three-time Worlds, and this time he can take it home. Or, equally okay, he can lose to Katka in the final. Equally okay. I'll be fine with either, but I'd like him to win. So that
Our boy needs to make day 2.
And he needs to wear a TFE hoodie, as Esther said earlier.
We need to get him a custom TFE flanny.
Yeah, let's do a flannel. Let's get it done. Let's start planning now. We've got a year.
Maybe we should do a crossover.
We need a merch line.
Should get him a tartan beret, TFE branded.
A beret with zippers on to stay on the Square Enix brand as well.
TFE.
Yeah, of course.
And a belt
With
around
like 5 belts tying him to like some random piece of metal on his shoulder.
Belt fashion.
Yeah. Brilliant.
It's finally time to bring you something you've all been waiting for. A while ago I introduced you all to the Deckbox box, but for some of you have found it a little difficult to carry it around. Well, struggle no more with the Deckbox box handle. You can carry your Deckbox box with ease. The Deckbox box handle keeps your Deckbox box secure, which means the Deckbox box inside your Deckbox box will be secure, and thus the Deckbox inside the Deckbox box will be inside the Deckbox box will also be secure, which ultimately means that your deck inside your Deckbox box inside your Deckbox box will be completely safe from all harm. It's time for the end of the podcast introductions. Your host for this podcast was me, Joe. Your co-hosts were Esfer, Nado, and Eureka. They were definitely all here. First guest was 10 letters. Guest number 2 was Zelon. And guest number 3 was the All My Head Judge of Australia. It's time to sign off with the podcast's iconic and signature saying, theory crafting. Bye. Podcast will probably take about 10 minutes, so it'll be fine. Shortest podcast ever. Let's do it.
Doge and Una.
Hey guys, Yo here with an important announcement about the Podcat Potcast's future. So unfortunately, we won't be doing any more podcasts this year. In fact, we won't be doing any more podcasts this decade. We'll be taking an indefinite break. Everyone on the podcast has kind of agreed to this. We're all kind of feeling like we kind of need to take some time, reevaluate what the Podcat Potcast is, what it means to us, whether we want to continue going on. So I can't say if or when we'll be back, but when we are, you'll know because I'll put a podcast episode up. All right, bye.